Hello everyone. How is everyone doing today? Hello everyone. How is everyone doing today? Oh, I hear myself in double. There we go. Much better. So today I want to try something a little bit new. I wanted to play some Ace Attorney Trilogy, Apollo Justice. I just recently got this. And yeah, I've always really enjoyed this series, so I thought, yeah, why not? It would be different from what I usually play on Sundays. So here we go. Get ready for some really terrible voice acting. Like, really terrible. You lose. Eek. Hey, welcome, bro. How's it going? Thank you for the heart. They seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that? April 20th, 9:37 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Panicked, palms sweaty, mom spaghetti. I can admit it, I'm nervous. Ah, good morning. Oh, hello, handsome man. Good morning, sir. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. Wound up, sir? No. I'm loose. I'm fine. That screeching noise. That your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. Your first trial and it's a homicide. I guess justice doesn't start small, huh? Yeah! Insert the who. I'm fine. I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Cords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. Ah, that explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to your screech. Cough. I overdid it again. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift gotten, sir. I'm all over that drift. As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir. One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today is my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. You get pro attorney points if you get the deceased to take the stand. You can imagine just the dead guy at the stand and you're like marionetting him. Ah, blah, 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 blah. I was murdered. Blah, 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 blah. That'd be funny. My boss wants me to help him out, of course, and so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. Yeah, has a hat with it. Oh! Emote on it. Whoa. Nice hat. Good, morning. Morning. It's all up to you today. First trial, nervous. Medium, cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. I won't tell you how, though. Are you serious? Have you played this? So you're fine. Fine, I'm fine. Ah, Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense... Oh, jeez, here we go. Okay. Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney. And he's your friend, so You'll see. You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, it's time. Shall we? Yes, sir. Boy, this dude kind of seems like a dork, doesn't he? Sheesh. Okay, I need to focus. First trial. Here comes the justice. Especially if you say, here comes the justice. April 20th, 10 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 2. Oh, this guy again. The court is now in session. Oh, now he has long hair. Prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is, fine. I mean ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank. Don't panic. Act. Too late. Your name was Mr. Justice. And this is your first trial? Yes, Your Honor. But I'm fine. Really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. Ahem. Mr. Gavin? Yes, Your Honor. I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case. That's my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes. My client specifically requested Mr. Justice. Well, of course he wants justice, but to entrust his case to this greenhorn, jeez. I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. Okay, so Gavin's got trial experience. Fine, but does he have cords of steel? Then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days... Wait, that's Phoenix? What? What? Mr. Wright, how could this have happened? What? I won't speak of it further, then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges, Mr. Payne. Oh, it is the same guy. Do you think I saw you enter this room, a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains? Ah, Winston Payne, subtle as ever, I see. The crime occurred at the Borscht Bowl Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him, wham, on the head. Smack, killed him cold. Customer at the restaurant, you say. Oh, wait, I gotta watch what I say, huh? Because I know TikTok's a little bit anal. And the defendant, you say he was the pianist. For the club, it seems. Phoenix Wright. A pianist? This is the weapon that took the victim's life. A bottle of grape juice. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice. The court accepts the bottle as evidence. Bottle added to court record. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. Make the practice of checking it frequently. The court record. Right, I've heard of that. Use E to look at the evidence so far. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Right, just use E. Sounds like a sign for some hands-on action. So the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this Shady Smith fellow? We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor. Traveler? According to his passport, he had been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear. And he had some sort of connection with the defendant? That, too, is unclear at present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borscht Bowl Club on the night of the crime. If they had only just met, then why? Off. Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing? Nice. It doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. At least not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. He's taking a nap. As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime. Wait a second, isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself. Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of gambler. Is it true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim? And it was only that, a game in the purest sense. competition, Your Honor. Competition? Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their packs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. Come again? The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present and impress women. That will be our first order of business here, then, to find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well. Oh, thanks for the share. Appreciate it, bro. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held the night of the crime. My pleasure. This is it. My first trial. Here goes nothing. I am a pianist by trade. I can hardly play it on. Our real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we play and the competition there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is, a game. And our customers are happy. A pianist who can play piano. Better than a defense attorney who can defend. Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. First cross-examination. Don't blow it. Are you right? You're sweating bullets. Bullets? Where? It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy, too. My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. You watched me perform cross-examinations many times, though you've never done one yourself, have you? If a refresher? Should I ask Mr. Gavin for a refresher course? No, I pretty much remember how. Good movie! It's actually a game. No need for help there, sir. I think I got this one covered. I think you'd better do more than think. You know it, or do you not? I'm fine. The courts of steel are ready for battle. My weapons, press and present. Finding inconsistencies, any lies in testimony, reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it. Inconsistencies? Lies? Phoenix Wright? As if. Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it. The defense may begin the cross-examination. You can hardly play? Oh, I play sometimes, when customers demand it. So I play them one song, that's usually all they want. Was that supposed to be a boast just now? The title of pianist is a mask, a respectable face I wear for the world at large. Then why are you really at the Borscht Bowl Club? My real job is to take on the interested customers at the poker table. So no, not that one. We're gonna press. Doing a crime scene photo is an attraction. It's quite a history, actually. The Borscht Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. What black market? Hey, how's it going? Oh, gee, sorry, I didn't see you guys. LOL, I am a pianist by trade. How's it going, guys? Jin Taki. Suffice it to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Hold it! Talking about holding pianist. We had to deal with kittens and making a dinner. Ooh, what'd you guys have? Smoking room, gambling hoods, you know. Just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. The bosses gather around the table, cutting deals, safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, Goon keeps watch through the small window. I can practically picture it now. Yeah, not a problem. I appreciate it. That window does look like it would be good for keeping a lookout, but little else. The room had a few other tricks to it. Goon mentioned. So Sigma Skiddy Riz toilet. Maybe if I say that, like a bunch of people will join. I'm the Rizzler. Sigma Skibidi Toilet, Ohio. It worked. No. I made a Mexican dish called picadillo. Yes! Picadillo is so good. It is like a ground beef dish that you can have with soup or stew with warm tortillas. It's like a hearty home meal. Ah, I love picadillo. It's delicious. Very nice. Well, yeah. Well, so I did spend 2 years in LA, and I worked with Spanish people. Actually, well, when I originally went to LA, I didn't really have a trade or anything like that, and I had gone there for a girl. But yeah, I had, yeah, I was in LA and I was in Michigan Those are the two U.S. places where I stayed for a long time. But yeah, I was working with a bunch of paysagistes, landscapers, and they were all Spanish, so I had to learn Spanish. And for the people who do know Spanish, the first thing I learned was "Yo soy un pobre maricón, hijo de puta." That was the first thing I learned to say. My ex at that time was not impressed. Yep, I was the favorite gringo. Yep. And so, my ex, she was half Vietnamese, half Ecuadorian. So I went up to her and I said that, and she got very mad. She was like, "Who taught you that?" And I was like, my boss." And she called him, cussing him out. "My brother-in-law taught me chupa mi verga." It means have a good day. No, it doesn't. Very nice. Very nice. That's not what it means. It's not what it means. My brother would never lie to you. Yeah, no. No. Say it to elders. No, don't do that. Oh boy. There was a civil. Their customers are happy. So you claim you weren't gambling? Say it to my stepdad this Christmas. Would he? But do you actually not know what it means, or are you joking? So I can tell you what it means. Okay. Oh, he does. Okay, good. He knows way too much about the cartel for me to say that. Nice. The only game at stake in our game was pride itself. Oh, well put, Mr. Right. I got mine to play a hand of poker myself. The stakes? Your fate. Mwah. Can we get back to the try now? I can't imagine Mr. Wright lying in a testimony. Isn't it a little early to be jumping in conclusions? This is your first cross-examination. This is, yeah, take it slow. If you need more information, don't forget to press. Right, yeah, I got it. I'm fine. Time to listen to that testimony again. I have been pressing, though. Remember when we played the competition there and then close my distractions? So you claiming you weren't gambling? That's right. It was simply a game. You didn't bet any money, not even a little? The only thing at stake in our game was pride itself. Oh, well put, Mr. Wright. I've got mine. Oh, okay, no, I already asked him that. Okay, blip. Yep, never mind. Okay. Not. Hey, what's up, badass? How's it going? Not. Has this prince on it, though? It's going nut? Mr. Asshole. Grape juice? How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently it's Mr. Red's favorite drink. I wonder how well it goes with borscht. And how did it not break? That's what I'm curious about. We were playing the competition there, the closed main attractions. Alright. There's still taking puppies and shit cards. Doesn't. What about the wine? Or juice? Okay. So I can't present it. Got it. What do you think about the witness's statement? I'm not sure I follow you. Clearly, it contradicts the, I thought. Oh no! I am doing great. Thanks for a nice, peacefully beautiful nickname, Mr. Dicky Duck. How about you? How are you doing? Dicky Duck. Nice. Did you keep any Spanish I learned? Yes, actually. So I did practice a lot. When I was actually working in a pawn shop for like a really long time. And funnily enough, we would have Spanish people that would come from April to November. And I was the only one who could ever talk to them. But yeah, I can keep up conversation. I'm not great at it, but it's enough to, yeah, I'm not gonna say. Doing the work that no one wants to do. Oh, they did. They did. And they usually bought just because I was Spanish. And when they would come in, okay, sure, shoot. I know LA Mexican food is a little different from my side of Texas Mexican food, but do you have a hard time with Mexican food? Like it doesn't hit the same, right? I feel like a huge snob when I eat Mexican up north. Whoops. I'm doing terrible. So actual Spanish food, I feel like it's yeah, exactly. No, I completely understand what you mean. There is one place here that it's like authentic Mexican food, and it's actually really good. It's Les Tres Amigos. Like that one is like the best place for Spanish food, for sure, by far. But I know exactly what you mean. Like LA Spanish food, like trying to get a taco at a food truck or something. Like the actual, it's not like tacos like white people taco night. You know that one? But they use like corn tortillas. And they'll put like a bunch of weird stuff on it. Carne asada. Dude, street tacos, yes. Especially in America. Okay, I wasn't paying attention. Give me 1 second. The room where we play in the competition there. Just take on each. Yeah, that's your real job. Yeah, okay, whatever, buddy. I don't believe that for a second. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. No? Okay. So let me repress. So I wasn't paying attention. But you weren't there just for the piano. There's wine. Dude, am I going crazy? Am I gonna like lose already? What? I'm so terrible at this. Competition, there are the club's main attractions. Clearly not. What am I missing? They pay you just to play poker? Would seem to be the case. I am a professional after all. Oof. Seven years now, lost once. Is that even possible? Clearly lost, right? Your Honor, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Who doesn't want tacos? Tacos are amazing. If anyone has an idea, feel free to shout it out because I feel like I'm losing something here. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. Got it. I'm a fan of burritos. Like actual Mexican burritos, dude. Oh, so good. Okay, there you go. People are not oft over simple games. Defendant, you're in the room the very moment the crime occurred, yet you claim no connection to the crime. Now that's strange. What's strange? I was just thinking about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. I completely let that one slip by. Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? Wait, there's something I'd like to make clear. You know your connection to the case at hand, and I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not? Very well, the defendant... Just one little press, and I've got myself a whole new testimony. Yeah, sorry, buddy, your fingerprints are on it. You didn't touch the off weapon. Discard juice bottle, right? So I said. Eee, luscious hair. Too bad a new defense. Whoops, what's this, Mr. Payne? Oh, calm down with the autoplay. Examine the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints. Bum, bum, bum. Objection! No, just shout. You just. Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears in her case. But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant? Well, that's true. The prints alone don't prove he did it. Jesus Christ, he screams. Well, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints, huh? But the fingerprints on the off weapon were upside down. What does that mean? It means he was holding the bottle inverted, and there can only be one reason for that. And maybe he likes flipping bottles. Maybe he's a magician. Maybe he's a bartender as well. Been someone with the bottle. Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worse. Oh? I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. You can't handle the truth. There's a good reason for everything, you'll see. Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court? I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now. Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case. I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's saying something. There must be some reason. Objection. Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something. And what might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police? Reported? Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright. But still, that... Really? Really? Yes. Well, according to the case file. Is the kind of Stan Phoenix right? Yes, it is. That's why I'm surprised. I never played this one. But they just released like a whole trilogy of the series. But yeah. He looks all like scruffy now and weird. So basically, Phoenix Wright is the pianist. Confirmed. The gooning pianist. The murder was reported from near the scene. I call from the defendant's cell phone. Near the scene? Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder scene, shall we? The victim was offed in a small room in the basement 2 floors down from ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground. The call from the first floor of the restaurant. I see, and this is the phone that made the call? Notify police on the restaurant's first floor. The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. Yet he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he's being uncooperative? Erk! Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being. Toyed? I assure you no one is more serious about... What was it you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment the crime occurred? How can you possibly know this? That's a good question. Indeed! The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness. You're as good as they say you are. So someone else was in the room the night of the crime? That must mean they witnessed the crime. Everything up till now has just been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready? No? Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand. What? The witness will state her name and profession. Hold on just a moment. Where's the witness? I surmise that she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns. So I use a little hair gel. Relax, people. Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off. You are sure? I swear it on my gavel. Please come out. Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor? Well, if you're sure this is okay. It's not hot. Why is she wearing just a big-ass fur coat? Whoa, wait a minute. Would the prosecution care to explain the witness's paraphernalia? Yeah. She's a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely tools of her trade. And that would be? My name is Olga O'Reilly. Olga O'Reilly. I am employed as a waitress in the Borscht Club restaurant. Then why the camera? Of course, it is my pride to serve borscht. That is naming... What? That sentence seems weird to me. Of course, it is my pride to serve borscht. That is naming restaurant. But I also perform, how would you say, other service. I take it one of these other services is taking the customers' pictures. Like for example, this one. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. You had to read that one with a Russian accent for it to make sense. Yeah, I know. I kind of just got, especially with the Olga. Actually, I like clicked earlier. That's the defendant. Indeed, on the night of the offing time. I can't say that word on TikTok. Man in white hat is one who has gone kaput. Indeed, that is the victim. Order. This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop into our laps. It is same way I could drop bowls of borscht on laps of customers casually. And the court will casually accept this new evidence.
Now, witness, where were you at the time of the murder?
I was in room, the hideout we call it. Excuse me, the hideout? It is room where famous gangster Bad Guy was arrested. It's room where murder took place. What? Your look of utter surprise, it is lovely. I will post my courtroom door later for you. Photos will be numbered, and you will write which ones you want copy of. So there were 3 people, and they were at the time of the crime. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga O'Reilly. Orley? I don't know. Our witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, then that means... Very well, witness. Hello? Oh no! My mic was dead. What happened? Usually my mic goes red if it's not on. But I had to like unmute it, remute it, then unmuted it again for the light to come back on. That was weird. No! My beautiful Russian accent gone to waste. Weird. I've got you now, Orly. Okay. So. Bro. Oh no, game over. I failed. There you go. Plays the whole time with a locket on his neck. It was cold, but players play with hats on. Wait, no, that was fine. Does he have his locket on? Yeah, he does. Why are the cards upside down? Huh. Seems odd. Oh, here, does he have his locket here? He doesn't have his locket there. Should I try that? Because... yeah, no. Blah, blah, blah. Well, no, that's not it, because it says... yeah. Strangled, you say? That's odd. Da, no more customer will only choke on borscht. No, I mean, this report shows that the victim died of a blow to the head. Hack. Miss... oh, really? Really now? Did you witness the crime? Eek. Nice save. Looking at the picture, it doesn't seem like he was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything, except the pendant. It's not there. It is the fact that he was hit, Your Honor. Here's the photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation. That's quite shocking, isn't it? This head certainly was hit. But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at victim, his neck. Oh, really, Miss O'Reilly? I think I cut you in your own lie this time. It's my enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. What do you mean? I find a contradiction. There's one thing in your testimony that troubles me. Seems we should continue this cross-examination. Such a thing is thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. This such a thing is thinking aloud too much, too. Okay. You hit him with bottle. Okay. You didn't say anything about hitting before. So sorry, I must be forgetting this, da. Oh, da, I'm sorry, Your Honor. And then clears out the description and see what the autopsy report believe. The defendant made to strangle his victim, then changed his mind. Just a simpler, blender means to do the job. Yes, that sums it up nicely. So he strangled him, then hit him? What's fishy about all this? Only people no, there are only 3 people in the room at the time of murder. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, who got you now, really? Hey, what's up, Hardward? Okay. Something seems weird.
Objection!
No, it's not right. Okay, so statement. This one.
Hold it!
It was this good luck turn then. You get to many times as played that night. So those make him to the moon and stars. Blah blah blah. We haven't finished on right. This is the lock we're talking about. Here's some picture. Yeah, no, that part no.
Objection!
Nope. Okay.
Hold it!
Yeah, I already did that. Yeah, he doesn't have to lock it on here either.
Objection!
Objection. Oh yeah, I have all the default commands for Stream Elements activated. Nothing fancy yet. I do have this as well that I added. This one. Boop. That's the only fancy one I've added. Hope you're on to how to raise an objection to witness's grammar. No, but look at this photograph. Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. Did you see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I need to be able to handle this, but what does it mean? If we're to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean the defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all? He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Defendant, what do you have to say to this? Say. Yes, I just noticed this, but you have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Oh? You mean this? Yes, it's a locket with a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter. Come again? Mr. Wright, you have a daughter? You confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter. So Mr. Wright has the locket too? Why don't I buy that this is just a coincidence? Now, if the results of the poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game. Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost badly. Miss Orley. We will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant. Duh. $3,500 in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. Okay. The one who was winning died was victim. For last time, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. No one lost his side. Defendant grabs bottle from table and. Okay. Looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game, but they're all upside down. Aren't they? They're all facing this way, which I find weird. What goes the defendant's life? Feeling it must have been a bitter pill to swallow. Ah, how many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of anger, Your Honor, and now I regret what I done. A common tale, but true. He thinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. Serious competition. Okay. Houses in two sizes, small and large. Ah, of course. Jesus Christ, dude. Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fish and chips. Not a chip off the old block. Not a motorcycle cop. Not a... Thanks. Nice one, dude. They dogs or rubles even. Yet. As I've been saying before, it was a game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. 2 tips chip, 100 points chip, and 1,000 points chip. It's not money, duh. Don't you find your comment interesting? In more ways than one, sir. I'd have it added to her testimony myself. What's added to her testimony? Yeah. Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Ah, Your Honor. So clearly, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000? So there's already a big problem. There's 2 chips more. 1,000, 8,000, 9,000. But they start with 3,500 each. How does he have 9,000? Max he would have is 7. That doesn't make sense. You're sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure? It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at this picture is enough to tell you who won. If you're not in kindergarten. Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points? Why, the big ones, of course, duh. Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up. The totals? Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips. The combined total value of chips was 7,000 points. Yeah, there you go. Yes, if my calculations are correct. Let's see. 3 plus 1 carry the 5. They are, Your Honor, now. Look at this photo. That literally shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up, how much is it? Do it yourself. You aren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony. But why? How could this be? Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right, there's only one possible way to explain this contradiction. Yeah... Both are right? Starting points was wrong and check was... Yeah, that would make sense. Each man began the game with 3,500. If all the chips are indeed shown in the photograph, then there can only be one answer. What is it? The value of the chips was the other way around. What? Want to know what I think? Small chips are worth 1,000 points, not the big ones. Madness. Utter madness. Show me that photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up. Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. I'm just glad I was the one who said it. But wait. The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing. Indeed, the victim did have the larger number of chips still. Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points, and the defendant had 4,100 points. Well now, it seems that Mr. Ray was winning that night after all. That's impossible. My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning. Yarg! Now, Miss Orley, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime. Weren't you? Ah, eek. Order, order. It appears the defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Red's supposed defeat never happened. None. We must now ask ourselves. Oh, I didn't get a chance to read it. Excuse me, what is it, Miss Orley? I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see, what is it, Miss Orley? What do we see? In the last hand, there was cheat. A cheat? You don't mean a trick? Wait, or do you mean a scam? They're all the same thing. Yes, there was cheat in the last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First we have lying, now cheating. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn for the interesting. Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand. Oh. Both men had a full house. Okay. There's 4 of each card in the deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took the bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. Why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. Full house is a very high-scoring hand, not easy to make in my experience. That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics. Mr. Gavin, what's a full house? He says, you don't know your poker? I can't say this bodes well for your case or for your career. What is this, some kind of secret card poker ring? Justice, do you know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number makes a pair, and 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house. This is not very easy to make, does it? You can see each player's hand in this photo. Full house, they both have full houses. Yet there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat. Ahem, the defense may cross-examine the witness. If he did cheat in the last hand, this still is one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? Okay. This is quite hard, dog. Very difficult job, but it's not impossible. Okay, full house hard. This line of questioning, a waste of time. Okay. Four of each card, you say. There's 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. There's an interesting fact that this number 4 comes from numbered seasons. Oh, you don't say. Did you know that the cards are numbered 1 to 13? Add all cards in the deck and you get 364 a year. Oh, you don't say. Isn't that 1 day short? That's why each deck has 2 jokers. They say the second joker stands for the leap year. Let's see, a perfect representation of the year on the deck of cards. You don't say. I'm gonna be in this courtroom for a year if it keeps going like this. How is it clear? No, well, the defendant, he played a 5th ace. A 5th ace. I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Red's 2. So cheating was a foot, or perhaps I should say a hand. Your Honor, perhaps this could get a testimony without Mr. Payne's joke? Very well. The witness will add this detail to her testimony, please. Okay.
Objection!
It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name... Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. It's a photo of the chips, is it not? Justice, perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. Yeah. It's not 3 aces. In your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith has 3 aces. There's only 2. As you clearly say, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Eek. Oh, well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that had held the 3rd ace in question. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's his 5th ace? I see cheating alright, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. Two aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating. Wait, please. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. That's odd. She must be lying, and she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts, Mr. Gavin. Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards? The cards? Mr. Payne. Yes, the players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards? Well, it's just the victim's, right? Was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony? Defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well. Mr. Payne, if you would. Very well. Okay. Well, time's wasting. Get to it, Justice. From all sides and angles. Try using and B and to zoom in and out. Oops. Oh, there you go. Simple enough. For some reason, I thought that they were using blue cards in that final hand. Didn't you, Mr. Gavin? Huh. Which was it now? Okay. Yeah, his are all fine. Yeah. What? Darn, look at this. Okay, the game like glitched out. That was weird. I had already selected it. No, I didn't do anything. With the victim's cards, the back is a different color. That's impossible. But I put that card back in the hand. What was that, Miss Silverman? No, yet. I merely said, I have eek. Your Honor. Mr. Gavin, yes? Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer. Wait, so you mean... this witness, Miss Orley? She's the cheater. A professional, I wager. Nyarg. Order. Focus. Justice. Tempted measure. We never mistake. Please recall the testimony we just heard. Miss Olga orally conspired to cheat not only with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shitty Smith. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? Wait, you don't mean... defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga orally, are you? Not for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident. And if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means... I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder. Eek. Miss Payne, where's your witness? It appears she has lost consciousness, Your Honor. Mr. Justice, Your Honor, it seems you've presented a new possibility to the court. I'm suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means this court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time. What? I did it. I held out. I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries. Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defendant disputing now? I think one of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means? What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous. Mr. Payne, you of all people should know Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's get the facts about the game that fateful night. As I said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night. What I said before. The 2 decks at the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed. We used different colors and they still got mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game. I see. But that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards. Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards. Whatever, in the end 1 card of the wrong color got into the mix, which means there was cheating. Yes, the card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think, in the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. Could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after. Probably after, I figure. Well, yeah, thanks to the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped. Oh? Might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? Uh... What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly. Please tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take the silly over impossible. Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible. When the box card are a different color, if you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Very true. I don't mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown. After the offering. Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. Ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that? Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us. Is another? Yes. A simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room. Alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga O'Reilly. I was just thinking how much fun all this is. Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant, and it wasn't Miss O'Reilly, then who was it? Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see the case take a new direction. A new direction? We'll find that indeed after the murder. Someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. And that someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first swapping was the wrong colored card. Because the one who did the swap didn't know the two colors of card were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right. With a king. Whichever swapped wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house, so they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in. There's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist. True, not until now, but you have to admit the possibility of a fourth person, though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime. What? Well, the judge spoke fully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright. Trials proceed on one central assumption, namely that at the time of the incident there were only 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that is a problem, yes. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Certainly, Your Honor. Very well. The trial will resume in 20 minutes. Oh, snap. April 20th, 11:52 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. That was kind of expected, Mr. Wright. Someone claimed there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. Let's ask, is it the truth? Oh no, I think you know the answer to that. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I can only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Christoph. Justice. Yes, sir. The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask something? Sure. The locket you wear. Damn right I'm going to give justice. Sweet justice! Oh, yeah? Is that really yours? You wondering about the victim's disappearing locket? Here, you can take a look at it. That's the picture of my daughter in there. But why did the other dude have it? Oh, yeah, her. I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. Oh, yeah? Justice, sweet justice. What do you think? You know what happened 7 years ago? What I did? It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. I never. Honest, but it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for seven whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. You see, poker is all about reading your opponent. And that way it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law. It's cursed but sounds good. Oh, yeah. Forget what your opponent is thinking and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. The Riz. Try as they make to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a vulnerable source of information. You're kidding. That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch in the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No. Come on, who knows that? Words, habit, twitches, it's all information for the reading. That's the secret of winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. You just don't know it yet. What's this talking about? You will, soon. Oh, I almost forgot one more thing. About this case, you should know. I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it. And my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? Yes, the Riz power. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best. Riz! You must Riz the judge to get what you deserve. That judge's sweet Badusi. Yes, saving the slot. Back. Continue. April 20th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number. All right, let's do this. Court will now reconvene. Has our witness, Miss Olga, recovered? Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness. Perhaps we can hear a version of the events again. That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued. Looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand. Very well. The witness will take the stand. Perhaps you can repeat your name and profession? Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser. No. Name's Olga Orley, that's truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quick Fingers Orley. Oh, Orley. Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like oh really. You liar, Frisbee. There, that's the truth. I hope you're satisfied. Oh, wow, that changes everything. That explains everything. Witness, you will tell the court what you were really up to that night. Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see? I remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences. Stay behind, Sin. Olga's mine. You can gladly take her. She's ugly. Bruh. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Borscht Bowl. She's all yours. I was planted at the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game as a waitress. So you were in cahoots with the victim. Not that he needed my help. Smith is one of the pork plates of circles, but winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in the Wright's pocket beforehand and then deal 5 aces during one of the games. When their hands are revealed, oh, look, he's grabbing his wiener. Oh, that's a real crime. Oh, and he's enjoying it. Look at him, he's like, yes. Now we're talking. This is the kind of poker I like. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search right. He would then pull out the planted card. And the trap would snap shut. Ah, you swap the cards. It does. Exposes a cheater and lose on top of it. It would have made a great double play. Just like that, Liz would be dashed to pieces. Indeed, getting caught red-handed and cheating would cast doubt on all his prior wins. 7-year lesson destroyed by one little card. That was the plan. Orly, how droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake. A mistake. Agree, the trap was elegant. Yet what happened to that planted card? Hey, that's right. He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be slip-free from a trap laid by Olga. Quick fingers, Orly. The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with that evil mastermind shtick. What? Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute. I'm bad. Bad to the bone, baby. You hear me? Bad. See, she's terrible. You don't want that. Don't run after the bad chicks. It's a red flag walking. She even has wearing it to cover her hair. When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. The best laid traps. The best part of waking up is Olga in your cup. And I'm supposed to have the card I was supposed to. Okay, at least she's submitting it. Right. Last in the last hand, like she was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. Wow. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no good cheating defendant. Surprisingly, Frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark. The trap was perfect, I tell you. Perfect. That rotten cheater hadn't messed it up. Look who's talking. Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, is all yours, Mr. Justice. With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? With defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? Sheesh. What's up, wet pepperonis? That night, I blended the card like I was supposed to. There was one that was kind of weird. The card was gone and the trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung. Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing? Which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well? What's this? What's happening? What was that just now? I sense something. Something wrong, Mr. Justice? No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Miss Orly, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? You. Me, quick fingers, Orly, hide something. Defense will refrain from baseless accusations. I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. I did see it. Honest. So, and yeah, she's doing that thing where she's touching back her head. That's what he was talking about. So I would rate him with my own eyes. I saw it. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? The witness, for instance, Miss Orly, she would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Yes, actually I did. Touching her neck, was it? Oh. Whoa, what's going on? This sensation. It's coming into focus. Yeah, the twitch, it's so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit like I couldn't before.
Gotcha!
Miss Orley, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. She says that part of the testimony. She's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory, and she touches her neck. I'm sure of it. A memory? Would someone care to explain what he's battling about? This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something? Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us? Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So what would remind her most of the moment of the crime? Miss Orley, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an inseparable impression on your neck is this. It would be the bottle, right?
Take that!
Would make sense. When she talks about the moment of crime, she touches her neck, and what reminds us more of that moment than this bottle, the murder weapon. Something doesn't fit. If you were only the witness to the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain? What's he talking about now? It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit, not you. Not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness's habits, they're completely irrelevant. Justice, I'll admit I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a new cross-examination. Explain later, just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. The moment of the crime, the very moment. Okay. Yet, I am knowing nothing. Whoops, she changed again. We know you're not Russian. The witness will testify, please, now. Ah, fine. Pressed the wrong button.
Hold it!
Seem uneasy. You try standing up here. Your eyes are darting all over the place. Must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like? Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. Standing dazed at that table until the cops came. Intriguing. Well, you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So what do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed. Duh. It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence. What's that? Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. Since that you claim contradicts the testimony. She didn't let him out of her set until the cops got there. Now there's some evidence that contradicts. Well, yeah, the phone call. Someone who called. He was alone on the floor. We have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Borscht Bowl Club. Heck. So, explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Oops. The man who picked up the ball wasn't the defendant. What? Showdown time. You dirty cheat. Check his pockets now. It's gone. The card's gone. You lose. Just Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from the next to right, and he hit me. Some master of cheating you turned out to be. Eek. So she did it. When I came to, the victim was already dead. Is that it? That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If it came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure. Well, where does this leave us? Madness. This is madness. I'm dreaming. It must have been me who was hit with the bottle, and I'm imagining all of this. It appears our prosecution is at its wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events? Mr. Gavin, sir? I believe that, as the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss Orderly a big fat liar. But three were in the room the night of the murder. The defendant, the victim, and her. She has a motive. A motive? Her plot foiled. The witness got into an argument with her client. Mr. Smith. The denouement of that argument was offing. What? I didn't. I'm no offer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame you. What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Wright, such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? Whoops. That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess, a single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And when we swapped the card, didn't know two colors of cards were being used. The fourth person... this theory again, your fourth person doesn't exist. Indeed, that's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. Perfect place to catch the real criminal. The real criminal? And we're in luck. The clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. Right at the beginning of the trial, no less. But, Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Sorry? Remember what I said? The fourth person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the color on the backs of the cards. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there is one person here, in our court, who thought those cards were blue. I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was? It's not me, I swear. Who is the fourth person? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards in the final game were blue? Well, it was Christoph. He's the one who said it. Wait, but that doesn't... As I expected. Your eyes and ears as sharp as your hair. I was right. Christoph Gavin, you were the fourth person that night. But of course Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue, the ones on the floor or the table. But look, you can see the colors in this photo. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. It's true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim, yet it was only that, a game in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor. A competition? Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. Well, Christoph? Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter? No, nothing. Excuse me. It was just so sudden. Right, you're not seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Christoph, you know even I'd never take a joke this far. This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb. This is insanity. Did our defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder? I assure you, I'm quite sane. But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim? I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either. Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never met. Well, what if they have? There's a possibility, after all. They have met that night before the game started. What are you suggesting? Is this the truth Mr. Wright was so staying silent about? Only one thing to do, Mr. Wright. The defense would like to request that you testify to the court.
Objection.
The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin, testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happening before that game of poker be related? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin. As I explained before, the defense believes that Mr. O'Reilly... I might assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He's the defense, not you. Oops. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. Well, does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony? Yeah. This was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was playing this all along, and I intend to see it through. Defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. He too, Justice? You would betray me, your teacher? Sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth. Oh, shit is getting nuts. That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at the table in his photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin. Mr. Gavin, you were at the Boris Bowl Club the night of the murder? I dined with him rather frequently. And you talked to the defendant on the phone directly after? Quite against my will, I had become involved. And yes, I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now? I thought my office was doing you fair when we took you on in your defense. It appears that I was wrong. Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Justice. Sir, he's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Oh, boy. Kristoff and I had dinner. We decided to actually wait. I must do something. Yeah, already. Okay. We set the table. She's been looking 5 minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress.
Hold it!
About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss O'Reilly mentioned. Kind of simple, elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of the games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call them out and search Wright. We'd then pull out the planted card, and the trap would snap shut. Okay. Yes, a hermit's prank in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it. Found the card. The card she planted. I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card. Before the game. Disposed? Where? There's an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. The weapon? It shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see. Okay. You said I won't forgive you for calling old ugly? No, she's blonde with short hair. I'm not a fan of blondes, personally. I'll be back to make you regret. Oh no! When I turned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. Oh no!
Objection!
Mr. Wright, if I may. Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see on his forehead. Good point. Justice, next time you point out inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court? Ah, I forgot to mention something. I was going to put the hat on his head. Hmm? On the dead man's head? You wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view. Shining bright, just like in this photograph. And picked his hat up off the floor and put it on his head. Why'd you do a thing like that? All I can say is, I'm sorry. That's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. So Miss Orley didn't see it, it being the victim's, or his head. I think not, she was out cold. I believe I was the one who witnessed his head. Ah, here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon? Just seems our client is determined to lie his way through this case. He's still our client, isn't he? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him. Just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. I don't get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore. Yeah, so you did touch it. You said that's the only thing you touched. Wait, what? Huh? So what, can I get the card now? There's no card in there. Oh, okay. Now it would work?
Objection!
Yeah, okay. Yes. Examine the bottle and I don't see any card in here. No? Almost right, surely isn't all you have to say. I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps a fifth person came in and took it out. Oh, and the sixth could have helped. Mr. Kevin, Mr. Ray is your client. My apologies. You're right. I don't have you disgracing your investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing. So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again, or did that card just disappear? I believe that's enough of that, Mr. Kevin. This one just is detached from what is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Christoph. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. I'm misled. I haven't told a single lie here. Okay. When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. When I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well. A reason? That reason is right here. Your cell phone? That night, recall that I spoke with the defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case, I recorded our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Kristoff, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. A gentleman who challenged you. He turned out to be good? He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him hard. I mean, someone cracked that flawless bone china pate? It wasn't you, was it? Me? Please, the cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that? Bone china plate? Kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny, and not plate but pate. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead. Lol. The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead. He said, something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Boris Bowl Club? Oh, certainly. Then how did he know? When did he see this bone china pate? Oh, that's right. Yes, that's when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene, and when I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court. Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So this is your reason, the reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it, Phoenix Wright? Order, I will have order, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor, I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear Defense Attorney Gavin's testimony? Well, as prosecutor, Very well. We'll break for 10 minutes, after which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for cross-examination. Are we all clear on that? Crystal clear, Your Honor. Very well. This will be the final recess for the day. Good. And for our first case, this is intense. The heck? Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who'd have thought today would turn out like this? Yeah? Huh? What? Hello, sir. Please pick a card. What's all this about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all. Oh, an ace. Where do I remember that card from? Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating. I swear to you. The missing 5th ace. Wait, this blush of red. Is this blood? You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth. I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl. I'd seen her recently, but where? It's his daughter. Bloody ace added to the court record. Court will now reconvene. Defense Attorney Kristoff Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. Will Mr. The witness state his name and occupation? Is this farce necessary, Your Honor? Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom. Fine, I'll play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? By secret, I'm guessing means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it. I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright. What do you think you're doing, Wright? Wow, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? If you're looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit. Oh. When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the camp, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you'd have had to have been there in the hideout at the time of the crime. In other words, I must be the real killer, is what you're trying to say. Goodbye, Apollo. Mr. Gavin, I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court. What? Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yet I'm afraid in the current situation I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night. Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night? The reason I sensed in that man that had trouble me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. Must have been right after the murder took place. Victim was, as he appears in the photo, a bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, and so I left. That's when the call came from Wright. No, Phoenix isn't a bad guy. He's really not. I think it's actually the dude's mentor who's the bad guy. For better or worse, I missed the actual moment. Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team. Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. I think we're reaching the end. What else can I say? I'm standing on the witness stand after all. So you are Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright? You had to say that because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo? Oh. Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. Can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. This one peeked in the window of the hideout. Must have been right after the murder took place. Victim was dead as it appears in the photo. A bald head and an unconscious girl on the right holding a bottle in his hand.
Hold it!
Those were the only three at the scene of the crime? Yes, as far as I saw, at least. Then we're back where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why did you talk to the police? 2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend.
Objection!
There must have been someone else in there at the moment of the crime. Justice, I just said I saw no, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said. Ah yes, this mysterious fourth person. He would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose. Let's see, we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap the cards in the victim's hand? Perhaps you can trust a reason why such a thing would be necessary? Remember, Paul, the card that was swapped out was the fifth ace. The fifth ace, right? Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. I see why. Because there's blood on it. Anything in the back now? Okay.
Take that!
My reason is this. Is that an ace? Why it's got blood on it right next to the spade. What? This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why? Could this be? Could this be the missing fifth ace? Yeah, damn right it is. Inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with that card? This thing. Just a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card. It's mine. That is, I picked it up after the borscht
Bowl Club that night after the offing had occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cars are stuck in trade after all. Oh, no, impossible, unacceptable. The code can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? What? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real offer. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason? The reason for? For the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime. Where are you going with this? Take another look at the photo and the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell to the floor, and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down the back of his head. Can a drop of that have fallen on one of the cards? I suppose. Killer then took the card to hide the blood. Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh? Regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. I will contest us to find our points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You want to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene. And now, I've told you. The one drop of blood could have been a decisive evidence. This is baseless conjecture. Baseless. Oh, I assure you, it's quite based. But what? It's amazing, really, how a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime. Whoa, it's all 3D. What's going on? The murder took... Whoops. The offering took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table, and before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem with this scene. Given that there was a drop of blood on the card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? Wasn't the victim's position that's the problem? I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice. Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You'd think any would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him. Ah. Take a look at the photo again. If he, in this position, it would fall on the floor, not on the cards. Oh, that's right, so what does this mean? Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh, man. Apollo, try turning the chair around. Okay, how do I do that? The chair was facing the other way. It would have to be. So we have to assume that at the time of the offering, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. Mr. Wright returned from informing the police. Which way was the chair facing? When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. You know the victim was facing away from the table at the time. But this creates another significant contradiction. Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? Well, it would have to be the killer? The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front, seeing where his indicator currently is? I think it'd be quite hard, yes. This what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of a game? Please, sufficient reason will soon come to light. There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Oh, if the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? You know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Where would the killer have to be standing to strike our victim from the front? Well, obviously, in the closet.
Take that!
He'll have to be standing, well, here. You get points for flair, but that's about all you get. I thought I was on something here, too. I think to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above? Ha! It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means that at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know. At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there. What's this now? I mean, that's the only explanation, right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately. Send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard. Your Honor. There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give this to the bailiff. Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright. I do my best. Okay. Let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here. Which means Apollo will try moving the cupboard. Okay. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem at the time of the murder. It has to have been as shown here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my, what's this? What is it now? Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we found yet another contradiction. I believe to be the final contradiction of fact. Oh dang! Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Well, now I can't see through the window, right?
Take that!
About this cupboard, are we okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window. Yeah, exactly, from the top of the stairs. That's right, someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin. What? What did you say? Oh, is it coolest defense in the West losing is cool? Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's not a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. As someone was, while the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court exactly where did you witness the crime scene from? Excuse me, Your Honor. Order. This is a court of law, and I will have order. We just now received word from an investigative team at the Borscht Bowl Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor. Oh, and what did they find? Well, Your Honor, turns out there's a secret passage behind it. What? No way. Yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks to the room many of our regulars know about. I do remember him saying something about that now that he mentions it. A secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal goings-on. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room has a secret passage. Where does it go? To the side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops. Enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like your killer. See our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo? I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed the trump card for the last hand. At the time of the offing, the window was blocked, and the victim's hat was only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Smith's offing and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin? Dare I ask what really happened that night? Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith, a date with Destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it. Why did you do that? Wait here, I'll get help. Miss Olga Orley was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with unconscious dealer. Then, a killer stepped out from the secret passage and into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look, and back. After the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. A single spot of blood told the story of the whole crime. Too bad for him, he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red. Gurk! Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly, truly sorry to see this day come, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Gavin? Mr. Payne. Yark. Yes, Your Honor. Prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion. Quark! Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances call me for to issue a warrant for your arrest. Immediately. Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness the legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlor trick. Excuse me? The defendant is cleared of all suspicion? This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. Not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney. Legal evidence? Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin. Is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course, this bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking? How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the offing weapon? Not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne? Actually, yes. The fingerprints on the bottle were upside down. I seem to recall this being an issue earlier. The court, in this case, demanded an explanation. You have to give only one reason why one would hold the bottle upside down. And that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor? See how the codfish squirms to the last? Well, Apollo? Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation just like that. Yeah. Why would anyone grab a bottle upside down other than to go... Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there, in plain sight. Why did you say the answer in plain words? It'd be hasty to deliver a verdict without unanswered questions indeed. Well, Mr. Justice? Mr. Gavin said that the court, in this case, demanded an explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done. Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court? What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down? Just got a bunch, so you'd be grabbing it from the top. It's actually easier to show you than to explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair. Yes. Now, reach down and pick it up without getting out of your chair. See? You actually go to pick up the bottle by its neck. With your fingers upside down. Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing the piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times. Oh, I can't believe it was that simple. You colored dinner that evening, Christoph? I was drinking my usual juice then, too. Basically used the bottle on the table to do the deed. Then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano, and you switched the bottles. You took one of Mr. Red's bottles and made it look like the offhand weapon. Order, order, order. What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin? Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You think they switched the bottle? Where is your proof? Proof? Well, that's, as I thought, more business conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty. Don't be so sure about that. Your Honor, will you initiate the investigation of the hideout earlier? Do you recall requesting an additional investigation? Ah, yes. I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Borscht Bowl Club. And here's one of the bottles in question. Are you going to test that for fingerprints too? I'd be surprised if any were on that but his. Mr. Gavin probably wouldn't make such an enormous mistake. True, that bottle won't bear a trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes, why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle? Why? Just humor me. That's right, that bottle will solve the case once and for all. What? Some bottle. Okay. Oh, look at that. There's something inside the bottle. What's this? That card, it can't be. Call that unpleasant woman's testimony for me? Miss Olga Orley? Yes, a little swindling Devotchka. Then I planted the card like I was supposed to, and Wright lost to the last hand just like he was supposed to, and Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone, the chap failed. Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? When you mentioned this piece of testimony? Yes, the snuck peek and I found out it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Right. The 5 of hearts. This is the card. Bombs were swapped, and the only one who could have done that was the 4th person that played that night. You, Mr. Kristoff Gavin. Oops. That is all. Welcome back. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago? Your Olga is done for. My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tete-a-tete, right? This is insane. What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone? Yeah, it's in the slammer where she belongs, because she's stupid. I believe this time we finally come to the end of our trial. Hey, sweet Caroline, how's it going? Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Kristoff? He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest right now. Well, what can we do? We can feed her to the Rancor pit. You didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he? None that we know of. Mr. Wright, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter. What's his victim, Mr. Shady Smith? His occupation was listed as traveler. Not profession to be sure, and that's all we know about him. I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor. Mr. Wright? Yes? 7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch. Kristoff Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer. He was extremely talented, to be sure. I needed 2 things before I could confront him. First was a place where no injustice would be tolerated, this courtroom. Second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me? This is a dark time for our legal system. Twisting of justice brought on by our very own initial trial system. We have to set it right. Not. Mr. Wright. Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, this seems like a good time to announce the verdict. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty. Yay! We did it. We put away the bad man. Court is adjourned. Thanks, Apollo. You came through, just like I thought you would. Pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who cornered Mr. Gav, the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability! Yes, the sensitivity I lack. He'll come to understand it soon enough. What was that, Mr. Wright? You'll have to find the answer to that question yourself. The answer right today was full of questions without answers, most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could he have had to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come. You don't know, do you? This locket is a key. Met the girl whose picture is in your locket. Nut. Your daughter, right? That's right, she's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. Huh? Took this off his neck the night he died, but it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me, so the truth is this locket really did belong to him. That's perjury. You testified. You said that locket was yours. I said no such thing, actually. I already said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. Subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless, and it's the truth. Wait, but then why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You're still just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work for Gavin Law Offices after all. Paul. Yes? How about coming to work for me? You mean at the Wright & Co. Law Offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. Can't imagine that to be true, but... You're not a... Oh, you're my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. I answered 7 years ago, that legendary trial. Nothing in the middle of it all. It was one man, Phoenix Wright. His reached had conclusion in that law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Did you notice during your trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. One piece of evidence struck me as odd, it's true. Just seemed, well, too perfect. How about this was the forged evidence? It's probably that bloody card. You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yes, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Right, because the killer took it with him when he left. Leaving the wrong card in his place, luckily for us. The court can't accept this. It's a fraud. Fraud? How can you be so sure? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Didn't you really? Yes, I forged this card. I'm looking at the crime scene and should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's calling themselves an attorney? Hello? It's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. Not that matters much now, does it? Yeah, grar. I punched him. It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn to the next page. My office address. Drop in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling, "Take that," next time. I find it packs a little more punch. Paul, thanks today. I had a good time. Jeez, well, we did it. And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. Our mysteries went unsolved. And at the time, I had no idea they're all related. Every mystery that they connected by a single thread of logic. I find that out soon enough. Mem's apologize. Turn the logic begins. End. It says end there. We did it. Whoop. We did it. Well, that was fun. All right. Well, thank you everyone who came by to lurk. I really appreciate your presence as always. Taki, Vanita, Badass Boy, of course. Thank you, bro, as always, for the support. Also showing up on TikTok. And Big Yvon. Very fun. And yeah, next game should be Tuesday with Spooky Game Night. Hopefully, actually, Spooky Game Night. We shall see. But yeah, hope you all have a great evening. Take care. Bye-bye.